So these are 4.5 part 2 notes. So today we're going to talk about the rational root theorem. So we will use the rational root theorem to help us solve polynomial equations. So it says the rational root theorem can be a starting point for finding solutions of polynomial equations. However, the theorem lists only possible solutions. In order to find the actual solutions, we have to test the values from the list of possible solutions. So in order to test the values, we're going to be using synthetic division. Our list of possible values come from this formula here, which is factors of the constant term divided by factors of the leading coefficient. So it is always factors of the last divided by factors of the first, which you'll see what that means on the next slide. So let's look at example 3. Anytime we have 4 terms, we always want to see, can we factor by grouping? If we tried to factor by grouping here, what's my GCF in the first group? X squared. What am I left with? X minus 8. What's the GCF in the second? 1. Would I be left with X minus 8? No. So since the parenthesis parts aren't exactly the same, grouping doesn't work. So that's why we have to use the rational root theorem. So we're going to find factors of our last and divide it by factors of the first. So what are factors of 20? 1 and 20. 5 and 4. What else? 2 and 10. Awesome. Perfect. That's all of them. And we have the positive or negatives of them. So we'd say plus or minus, because it could be -4 times -5. So the positive and negatives work. What are our factors of the first term? Just 1. 1 and 1, which is just 1. So all of these are just whole numbers, because it would be like 1 over 1, 20 over 1, 5 over 1, 4 over 1, 2 over 1, 10 over 1, which are just the whole numbers. So these are possible solutions. Now to test and see if it's an actual solution, we have to use synthetic division. What's going to go inside the box? 1, -8, 11, and 20. The coefficients of our polynomial. Now we need to test a number, so we can test any one of these numbers. What number do you want to test first? Let's test 1. So we drop down the 1, multiply, we get 1, then add -7, multiply, add, we would get 4, multiply. Now in order for it to be an actual solution, we need the remainder to be 0. Is our remainder 0 here? No. So 1 is not a solution. So we need to erase and start over. Pick another number.
2.
Let's try 2. So we multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply. Does 2 work? Nope, our remainder is not 0, so 2 does not work. So pick another number. Let's try 5. So we multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. We get our remainder as 0. So does 5 work? Yes. So one of our solutions is x is equal to 5. That's just one. Now we need to find the other ones. So what we can do is use our answer to help us find the remaining answers. So I have x to the 3rd power in my question. What is my answer here going to start with? X squared, x to the 2nd power. minus 3x minus 4. Now I'm going to take this and factor it to find my remaining solutions. So what are two factors of negative 4 that add to negative 3? Negative 4 and 1. Perfect. So this would be x minus 4 and x plus 1. Now I factored, but I need to solve. I need that x is equal to. So what would I need to do to solve? Set both equal to 0. So x minus 4 equals 0. X plus 1 is equal to 0. So we're just flipping the sign. So x is equal to 4 and x is equal to negative 1. So my other two solutions will be 4 and negative 1. So these are my three answers. Now if I would have started and did synthetic division with 4, it would have worked because it's one of my solutions. So 4 would have worked. You would have gotten different numbers here, and then when you factored, you would have had the other two, 5 and negative 1. If I would have done synthetic division with negative 1 first, I'd find the other two, 5 and 4. So you'll end up with the same three answers. Doesn't matter which one you find first using synthetic division. But you'll find all three eventually. All right, let's take a look at 5. So we can't factor by grouping, so we'll have to do our last over first. What are factors of the last? So factors of 24. 4 and 6. 12 and 2. 3 and 8 and 1 and 24. Perfect. And these are all plus or minus because they could be positive or negative. What are factors of our first term? 1. So we would say 1. All of these are going to be whole numbers. Now we need to do synthetic division to test and see what will work. So what's going to go inside the box? 1, negative 5, negative 2, and 24. What's the number that you want to test first?
1.
Sure, let's test 1. So we drop down the 1, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply. Does it work? No, because we need 0 to be our remainder. So as soon as you realize it's not going to work, you can stop and try the next number. What do you want to try next?
8.
Let's try 8. So we multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply. Is it going to work? Nope. What do you want to try next? 6. Multiply, add. We get 1, multiply, add, multiply. Does 6 work? No, because this would be 48.
I thought it was 24 last week for a second. Then I just looked deeper.
Let's try 3. So 3, we add, we get negative 2, multiply, add, multiply. Does 3 work? Yes. Our remainder is 0, so 3 works. So one of our solutions, we will say x is equal to 3. How many solutions total do I need? 3. So I need to find 2 more. If my question starts with x to the 3rd power, what's my answer down here going to start with? X squared, 1 less. So x squared minus 2x minus 8. Let's see if we can factor. Do I have two factors of negative 8 that add to negative 2? Negative 4 and 2. So it factors into x minus 4.
I gave you my charger. You take my answers. Wait, you're not. Sorry.
And x plus 2. What would I have to do next? Flip the signs. So x minus 4 is equal to 0, so x is equal to positive 4. X plus 2 is equal to 0, so x is equal to negative 2. So my other two answers would be 4 and negative 2. So this one is 34 from the homework. What should we do first? Factors of the last over factors of the first. What are factors of 48?
1, 48, 2, 24, 3, and 12, 16, 4, and 12. 16.
Perfect. I think that's all of them, but we can start with that for now. That gives us a lot of possibilities. What are factors of the first? 1. Perfect. So all of these are whole numbers. What is going to go inside the box? Are you sure? Am I missing anything? So I have to put a 0 x squared in there. So I have 1, 0, negative 28, and negative 48. What do we want to try first? Let's try 1. So drop down the 1, multiply. We get 1, add, multiply, add, negative 27, multiply. Does 1 work? Nope. What do you want to try next?
6.
Let's try 6. So we multiply, add, multiply, 36. What's 28 minus 36? Or negative 28 plus 36.
No.
Sorry.
8. 6 times 8.
48.
Negative 48 plus 48. 0. So 6 works. Yay. So x is equal to 6. You could use the last over first again, or we can see if this will factor. So if my question started with x to the third power, what's my... Yes. Yeah. So my answer here is going to start with x squared plus 6x plus 8. And let's see if it factors. What are 2 factors of 8 that add to 6? 4 and 2. So I have x plus 4, x plus 2. Now we only factored. I still have to solve. What would I do to solve? Set them equal to 0. So x plus 4 equals 0. X plus 2 is equal to 0. So what does x equal? Negative 4 and negative 2. We flip the signs. So x is equal to 6, negative 4, and negative 2.